Okay, so good morning class. We are going to continue with our estimation methods for evaporation. So we discussed a while ago about mass transfer approach. Okay, so this is our example. Our next method or our next method of estimation is the energy budget method. Okay, so the origin and concept of the energy budget method this was based on thermodynamics, and this method considers energy fluxes at the water surface. Um, when we talk about thermodynamics and energy, of course, we'll be talking about the solar radiation, heat storage, and the latent heat loss during evaporation. So, basing on what we are going to consider on this estimation method, this is the formula for the evaporation. Okay? So, E is equal to R sub n minus G minus H over lambda, where E is your evaporation in ml per day and Rn is the net radiation for the incoming minus the outgoing energy. G is your ground heat flux. H sensible heat flux air. And lambda is the latent heat of vaporization, which is equal to 2.45 mj, meaning million joules per kilogram at 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the limitations for our energy budget method includes the difficulty to measure heat fluxes. Okay, so we're going to be dealing with heat fluxes on this method. So it means that we are going to measure or compute for the heat fluxes. So one limitation of this is the difficulty to measure those heat fluxes. Those heat fluxes are important in our energy budget method. Okay. Next is we require continuous meteorological monitoring. Okay, of course, it requires continuous because we are dealing with energy. Okay, energy specifically the solar radiation. Okay, and when we talk about solar radiation and water vapor or evaporation, we will be dealing with weather. So, continuous meteorological monitoring. Number three, it is not practical for small scale studies because uh, we're going to measure the heat fluxes, and heat fluxes tend to be the measurement of fluxes tend to be very complex. And for small scale studies, just like for the students or case studies, this is not practical or not recommended. Okay, so for the applications, we have climate modeling. Okay, so as I've said a while ago, it is used for weather. Okay, so it is used in global weather prediction. Number two, it helps calculate crop water demand, of course, because we're dealing with evaporation. And number three, water resources planning. Okay, in dealing with evaporation, we will be dealing with loss of water supply. Okay, so it is used in drought monitoring. Okay, so an example of this is this one. A water body receives a net radiation of 200 watts per meter squared. Okay, uh, the ground heat flux is 20 watts per meter squared, and the sensible heat flux is 30 watts per meter squared. Calculate the evaporation rate in per day. And we have here a conversion. The conversion is 1 watt per square meter is equal to 86.4 million joules per square meter per day. Okay, so uh, our given here is Rn. Okay, we have your net radiation, 200 watts per square meter, your G, 20 watts per square meter, H, 30 watts per square meter, and the lambda from the previous slides, okay, 2.4 million joules per kilogram. Okay, so solution, it is just simply substituting the values. Okay, so E is equal to 200 minus 20 minus 30 multiplied by our conversion factor, 86.4, all over by 2.45, which is equal to 5290.8 mm per day. Okay, so notice that lambda is the only one below the division symbol. Okay, so if I want to ask you, if lambda is bigger or larger in value, how does it affect the evaporation? Okay, so how does it affect the evaporation? You're going to think about this, okay? If lambda is smaller, okay, but will be our value, is it bigger or is it smaller? Try to think about that. Lambda is the only one below the division symbol of our formula. Okay, so that's it for our energy budget example or the energy budget method. Let's move on to one of the simplest method in estimation of evaporation, which is your pan evaporation method. Because, okay, so let's see, origin and concept. This uses class A evaporation pan. Okay, so it's just a pan, okay, to measure actual water loss over time. The evaporation from the pan is empirically related to real world water bodies. Okay, so in here, they have a pan, they fill it with water that is close or that is in scale with the water from a real world water body or bodies of water. Okay, so here we have your formula. E is equal to Kp times E pan, where E is your estimated evaporation and Kp is the pan coefficient. It is typically 0.7 to 0.85, and E of pan is the measured evaporation from the pan. Okay, so the limitations of this, first, this is not accurate for large bodies of water due to the differences in heat storage. Okay, heat storage mainly the bodies of water have this span. Okay, this span is a land mass, and when we talk about land mass, the heat dissipation on land mass is comparably low with the heat dissipation in uh, the materials used in pan. Pan, they are usually metals which are high has high conductivity to heat, whereas soil, uh, okay, soil is soil which cannot transfer heat uh, as well as metal. Okay, so number two, uh, limitations are affected by pan surroundings. Okay, so now we are talking about the pan. Okay. For example, the vegetation increases the humidity. So the surrounding, the environment where the pan is affects the evaporation. Okay, the environment where the pan is affects the evaporation because when there is um, very high vegetation in the area, there are transpiration happening, and this increases the humidity in the air. That means there is less evaporation going to happen on the pan itself because transpiration is the AC of nature, okay, the air conditioning of nature. So this means that all heat is not targeted, the heat does not directly target the water in the pan. Okay, it is disseminated or it is distributed all throughout the vegetation and the surroundings of the pan. Okay. Number three, it requires frequent maintenance. Okay, so there are instances where the evaporation is being affected by the cleanliness of the pan, and since it is a pan and it has very small capacity, uh, after taking note of the evaporation of per day or per hour, we're going to refill it again. Okay, so it requires frequent maintenance. The applications for this is irrigation scheduling. Farmers use pan readings to adjust watering. Okay, so it's very simple. That means even farmers can use this. Number two, reservoir management help predict storage loss. Just like I said, if you scale the water volume of the pan to the water body you're comparing it to, you can get the estimated evaporation. And number three, drought monitoring. Of course, drought monitoring uh, typically used in drought monitoring because it estimates evaporation. Okay, so we move on to your example, to our example. Example, a Class A pan recorded 10 mm of evaporation in a day. The pan coefficient is 0.75. Estimate the evaporation from a nearby lake. Okay, so E of pan is equal to 10 mm per day. The Kp is equal to 0.75. The solution, we just substitute the values. 0.75 times 10 is equal to 7.5 mm per day. Okay, so that's it for our pan evaporation example. Okay. Uh, the pan coefficient is not always 0.75. Uh, there are instances where it could be 0.85. Okay, so okay, that's it. Let's move on to the next. This is the most complex method of them all, of the four. We call it the Penman method because it was developed by Howard Penman in 1948. This method combines the energy budget, which is method number two, and mass transfer, which is method number one, for more accurate evaporation estimates. Okay, it accounts for solar radiation because we are dealing with it is energy budget plus mass transfer, wind speed. This was in mass transfer, and vapor pressure. It was in mass transfer. Okay, so combining the formula, we have E is equal to delta. Delta here is a variable. Okay, delta multiplied by net radiation minus G. I forgot what G was. Okay, I'm so sorry. Plus gamma F of U. Okay, the function of wind speed multiplied by saturation vapor pressure minus actual vapor pressure all over by delta plus gamma. Okay, where delta is the slope of vapor pressure curve, gamma is the psychometric constant, and F of U is the wind function. Okay, so limitations of this method. First, data intensive. It is very complex and it requires solar radiation, wind, and humidity. Okay, so if you do not have solar radiation, you can just stick with mass transfer. Uh, if you have solar radiation and you do not have wind, you can just stick with energy budget. But since we're doing the Penman method, we need both. Okay, we need solar radiation and with also humidity. Number two, difficult to apply in remote areas because you might not have all the equipment needed to measure the variables needed. Number three, overestimates evaporation in arid regions. Okay, so for our application, water resource management, used for reservoir design because it is a very complex and data intensive method. Okay, it can be used for reservoir design. Two, irrigation. It helps in estimating water demand. Okay. And number three, in hydrology measure models, we either use it in flood prediction. Okay. So let's move on to our example. Okay. So the water body has the following condition: net radiation, ground heat flux, air temperature, This saturate on vapor pressure, actual vapor pressure, wind speed, psychometric constant, and slope of vapor pressure curve. Okay, so we have all the given. We just need to substitute the values to our formula. Okay, so we have delta first. Our delta is 0.144 multiplied by Rn minus G, that is 150 minus 10, plus we have the gamma. The gamma is 0.066 multiplied by 1 plus 0.5. I'm sorry, did I miss something here? 1 plus 0.5 times 3 multiplied by 2.4 minus 1.5 all over by 0.44, which is your delta plus gamma. Yeah, delta plus gamma. Okay, so the final answer is, where is it? Final answer is 96.7 mm per day. Okay, I think we have a correction here. Try to find if we have a correction and uh, just relay it to me in our GC. I think there has been a mistake. I'm not really sure. Oh, I think this is 1 plus b times u. Yeah, that's the wind function, right? So we do not have a correction here because we have 0.066 as your lambda multiplied by the function of winds or the wind function, meaning that is 1 plus b times u, wherein our B is 0.5 multiplied by 3, which is our wind speed, that is U. Okay, so this the 0.066, that is your gamma, sorry, gamma multiplied by 1 plus 0.5 times 3, that is gamma multiplied by 1 plus BU. Okay, times 2.3 minus 1.5. Okay, 2.3 minus 1.5, that is ES minus E of A, all over by, we have 0.144 as your delta plus 0.066 as your gamma. So we have 96.7 mm per day. Okay, so that's it for our uh, I think that is for our Penman method example. So for a summary, okay, so we have here the summary of the methods. For mass transfer, it is best for oceans, lakes, and dams. The limitation is it requires site-specific calibration. So when you're near the ocean, you need to calibrate the variable needed. Okay, and next is we have the energy budget, best for climate studies. Uh, there has been there is still a limitation, difficult heat flux measurement. Next, we have your fan evaporation, best in agricultural use because it is very simple, and limitations affected by local conditions. Lastly, we have the Penman, best for water management because it is very data intensive and complex, can be used in hydrologic models. Limitations, yeah, requires extensive climate data. Okay, so for the keynotes, we have first the choice of method depends on data availability. Of course, data availability, what can you measure in that specific area? Okay, and the study area itself, because mass transfer is based on oceans, lakes, and dams. And next, we have your fan evaporation. Okay, so pan evaporation is practical for farmers and water managers. Okay, next is we have Penman method is the most comprehensive for hydrology and irrigation studies, and you have energy budget and mass transfer are useful for scientific and climate models. Okay, so that's it for our evaporation class. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening to our uh, lecture video. Uh, there will be further instruction. There will be instructions later involving our quiz. Just stand by. That's all. Thank you everyone for listening.